Amanda was a well-meaning lass, a bright, energetic young girl with a sparkle in her eye and a smile that could light up any room. Her parents, wealthy and respectable, had big hopes for her. They dreamt of her becoming a lawyer, a doctor, a writer, or even perhaps an influential businesswoman, someone who would uphold their family name and carry their legacy forward. But little did they know that their daughter was a queen of the kegs, a lady of the libations, one given to cocktails and whiskies. Amanda was born and raised in the city of Mnazi, a bustling coastal town in East Africa, filled with both old money and new opportunity. She was the only child of wealthy, quiet parents, her father, a successful self-made businessman, and her mother, an urban commercial poultry farmer who kept to herself. From the outside, their family seemed like the perfect picture of success. Their home was large, tastefully furnished with expensive art and antiques, and they lived in a neighborhood of mansions that sat along tree-lined streets. But to Amanda, however, it felt suffocating. Her parents, though loving, were distant, always working, always occupied with their own world of high society meetings and business ventures. They did not understand her, or at least she thought they did. Her parents' warnings were subtle but consistent, like a constant hum in the background of her life. Remember, Amanda, you have a future ahead of you, and it's bright. Do not waste it on the sweet things of the flesh, her mother, a devout Christian, would say, her voice calm but serious. Her father, when he wasn't caught up in his work, would say, the world will give you anything you want, but you must learn to work hard and choose wisely. But to Amanda, the promise of a conventional life was boring, almost suffocating. She was young, she was beautiful, and she had a thirst for excitement. And that thirst led her down paths her parents never imagined, paths that would eventually shatter their world. It started innocently, though. Amanda had always been the popular girl at Palm High School, the girl everyone wanted to be around. She was charismatic, outgoing, and effortlessly charming. She had a group of older friends, rich kids, who lived lives her parents could not understand. Nights spent at exclusive clubs, private parties, beachside gatherings that were doused with excitement and indulgence. It was a world of decadence that spoke to her in quiet ways, subtle yet quiet, ways that her family, that her quiet home could never speak to her. She had her first drink at a party thrown by one of her friends, an older girl who was already in university. The moment the alcohol touched her lips, it felt like she was tasting freedom for the first time. The drink was sweet, intoxicating, and it made her feel more alive than she ever had before. The conversations became smoother, her laughter louder, and she felt part of something greater than herself. That night, she stayed until the sun came up, dancing, talking, laughing, and drinking. It was a night she would never forget, but one that would forever mark the beginning of her descent. From then on, Amanda's life became a whirlwind of parties, late nights, and fast living. Alcohol, the wonder drug, became her constant companion, the one thing that could numb the ache of being trapped in a world of expectations she never asked for. But there was something more, something even more dangerous. She began to meet older men who were wealthy, powerful, and married. They showered her with gifts, attention, and promises of a life she could only dream of. Amanda did not care that these men were her father's agents and already taken. She did not care about the wives they left at home or the children they neglected. All that mattered was the lifestyle they promised. These men were successful international business moguls, powerful politicians, and investors who had the world at their feet. Amanda was soon drawn into their world, a world of luxury and danger, a world that came with its own set of rules. But no one warned her about the consequences. No one warned her that when you consistently buy a pleasure, you're actually selling yourself to it. No one told her that the price of indulgence would be much higher than the occasional hangover or fleeting regret. Her parents saw the changes in her. At first, they attributed her behavior to the rebelliousness of youth, the same rebelliousness they had seen in so many other children of wealthy families. They thought it was a phase. But as the months rolled on, they realized it was something more sinister. Amanda's grades slipped. She stopped attending school regularly, claiming she was too tired or had other things to do. She began to spend more time with her new circle of older, wealthy men and less time with her old friends who were beginning to worry about her. "Amanda, what is happening to you?" her mother would ask, her voice trembling with concern. "This is not the life we planned for you. You have so much to offer, so much potential. You don't have to do this." Her father, ever the silent one, would just shake his head. "You are throwing away everything we've worked for, everything we've built. You think it's a game, but it is not. There are consequences to your actions, Amanda." But Amanda was deaf to their pleas. The alcohol, the parties, and the attention from the powerful men were all too intoxicating to resist. And soon she was entangled in something far darker than she could ever have imagined. She met Marcus, a man in his early 40s, who was as charming as he was dangerous. Marcus had it all: a chain of international businesses, investments in oil and real estate, and the kind of wealth that could make anyone's head spin. He was married and had a family, but Amanda cared not. She quickly became his mistress, and they did quite a number of abortions. To her, Marcus represented the world she wanted to live in, the world of endless luxury and freedom from consequence. Marcus wasn't just rich, he was influential. He introduced her to a world of crime, a world where money was made on the backs of those willing to take risks. At first, it seemed like harmless fun: smuggling small amounts of drugs across borders, moving cash through untraceable channels, attending secret parties where illicit business deals were made. Amanda was living the high life, but she didn't see the web she was entangling herself in. Marcus kept her close, showering her with gifts and promises of a future together, even as he used her for his own gains. But Amanda's downward spiral continued. Her addiction to alcohol deepened, and soon she was using harder substances to keep herself high. The life she was leading was no longer glamorous, it was a prison. But by then, she was far too gone to care. She had lost all sense of who she was. The girl her parents had once known was no more. Instead, she had become a stranger, a woman defined only by her addictions and her ties to Marcus' criminal empire. Her family's attempts to intervene became more desperate. Her mother contacted a priest, Father Gabriel, a long-time family friend, and a kind-hearted man who had known the family for long. He tried to reach out to Amanda, speaking to her with compassion, urging her to return to her roots, to reconnect with the faith she had once known. Amanda, there's no shame in turning back, he said. No sin is too great to be forgiven. You can find your way again, but you must want to. But Amanda laughed in his face, her eyes clouded with defiance and drink. I do not need anyone's forgiveness, she slurred. This is who I am now. This is my life. And so Amanda continued her reckless path, her involvement in crime deepening. She moved large quantities of drugs across borders, smuggled precious items, and even laundered money for some of the most dangerous figures in Marcus's network. But the law was closing in. For a year, Amanda and her accomplices had been under close state surveillance, their every move watched, their every deal traced. The end came swiftly without mercy. Amanda and her crew were attempting to flee the nation with a shipment of drugs meant for an international buyer. They were at the airport, ready to board a private plane, when the police raided the location. A fierce, short but sharp shootout broke out, and Amanda, the girl who had once been the life of every party, now found herself in the midst of a deadly armed confrontation. The gunshots rang out, and as Amanda and her crew tried to run for dear life, they were shot. Amanda was shot dead. Accomplices killed, and the girl who had everything died alone. Her funeral was a quiet affair. Her parents, devastated, stood at the front of the church, their grief evident in every line of their faces. Only her parents, Father Gabriel, and a handful of those who had known her before the Fleshpots claimed her. Her death was mourned, but not in the way she might have imagined. No children were left behind, no legacy. The woman who had once been the queen of the Fleshpots was now a cautionary tale, a story whispered among the rich and powerful about the price of indulgence, of living too fast and too carelessly. Amanda had lost it all at the Fleshpots: the wealth, the luxury, the men, and in the end, all she had to show for it was a grave and a broken family. And so the city moved on. Her parents moved on and had other children after her. The world forgot about Amanda, as it always does, just as a lizard loses its tail and grows a new one.